For the Rebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant. I'm standing outside the Old Bailey, also known as the Central Criminal Courts in London. Today, a two-judge panel at the Old Bailey ruled that Tommy Robinson must stand trial again for contempt of court proceedings emanating from an incident a year ago in front of the Leeds County Court. You will recall, Tommy Robinson was live streaming on Facebook his political commentary outside the courthouse there, where a Muslim rape gang was on trial. It was the last day of the trial. The jury had finished their deliberations. They were going to issue their verdict. The judge would issue a sentence. Tommy was outside the court giving his thoughts, and then police swooped him up, arrested him, and packed him off to prison after a 10-minute drumhead trial where Tommy himself wasn't allowed to utter a word. As you know, we crowdfunded Tommy's legal appeal, and the Court of Appeal finally freed Tommy, but after 10 weeks, almost all of it served in solitary confinement. And you'll recall, Tommy, in fact, couldn't eat any food from the kitchen cafeteria in the prison because it was run by Muslim gangs who had sworn to kill Tommy. So he was subsisting on a can of tuna and a piece of fruit a day. He lost 40 pounds. He was being kept in solitary 23 and a half hours a day. I think they were going to kill him had we not sprung him out. So the Court of Appeal did release Tommy and had a scorching rebuke of the court in Leeds for throwing him in, but permitted the Attorney General to retry the case. And I suppose as a technicality, it wouldn't be double jeopardy because it was the court itself that screwed up, so it was quashed. But those are legal technicalities. Fact is, the government threw everything they had at Tommy. They did so unfairly. He spent 10 weeks in prison for it, and yet they're doing it again. In America, that would likely fall under double jeopardy, and even if it technically wasn't, in what possible realm of public interest is it to re-prosecute Tommy, reconvict him, and presumably re-sentence him to more prison? Was 10 weeks in solitary confinement not sufficient? One of the most incredible things today was the excuses that the Attorney General put forward for a rehearing. They acknowledged there has to be some public interest. They couldn't quite articulate it, but it's been proved that Tommy did not disrupt that court case in Leeds. As I said, the jury had finished their deliberations. Tommy didn't talk about anything that had been said in the court. He wasn't in the court, so he wouldn't have known. In fact, later on appeal, one of the rapists said, "Oh, Tommy disrupted my trial." A senior judge said that is not accurate and threw out that claim. So it is a legal fact that Tommy did not actually interfere with that trial. He just didn't. So then why are they prosecuting him again for the same contempt of court case? Well, the Attorney General, you'll think I'm making this up, I swear I'm not. He said that Tommy was really mean verbally to a couple of the rapists who came to court that day, that he said things to them that hurt their feelings and maybe stressed them out. The judge actually said that is why Tommy must stand trial again, because he said mean things to a serial child rapist going to court on his judgment day. Well, I should tell you, this was packed today, and there was a whole mob of about 20 Antifa protesters on the left who surely said mean things about Tommy today. Are they all being held in contempt? It's such an absurd fig leaf of an excuse. I can't believe they're doing it again. And they're doing it again, it's so symbolic, on July 4th, the 4th of July in America, Independence Day, the day where that country broke free of the United Kingdom. Of course, America and Canada have so many legacies of the rule of law and Constitution and Magna Carta and free speech from the United Kingdom. How ironic that the UK, the cradle of all these freedoms, is the place where these freedoms are rotting. I've got to tell you one more anecdote. I've just got to tell you this. Halfway through the hearing, someone handed a piece of paper to the judges, and they abruptly left with no explanation. And I had a bit of an inkling. It was a hunch. And I thought, what did they rush out of here so quickly for? And I had like a 1% idea, and I thought, I'm going to check this out. So I went to a clerk, which is like a judge's assistant, and I said, did someone complain about my tweeting? Because I was live tweeting from the court. You know what I mean by that? I just type little updates of what's going in the court with my opinion. And I thought, that's very narcissistic of me, very vain of me to think that this heavy trial in this heavy court with these heavy judges and these weighty matters, that they would be stopped for that. But I just thought, we're in a crazy place right now. I'm just going to ask the clerk, And if it's a dumb question, they'll say, no, that would be ridiculous. And that clerk said, yes, that is actually why the trial was stopped. And I said, oh my God. I said, well, I've live tweeted from court here before. I've had permission from the Recorder of London, the most senior judge. I've been through this many times, and in fact, on the way in, a security guard told us the rules and specifically said, you can't take photos or videos, but you can tweet and text. So I thought, okay, I know this. I swear to God, someone made a complaint, handed it to the judge, and stopped the entire proceedings because of my tweeting. Now, I told the clerk to pass on my comments to the judge, and if the judge wanted to talk to me, I'd be happy to do it. I was just doing what I've done. Anyhow, the judge came back out and said, let me just make a statement about tweeting. It is acceptable. We have members of the press here. They're allowed to tweet, and this has been decided before. Let's get back to the case. But just stop and think about it. There was about 8 or 9 mainstream media journalists, including a pack of government journalists from the BBC. And one of them was following my tweets and was so outraged that I would be tweeting supportively of Tommy Robinson, let alone accurately, that they personally had their political objections to me such that they would stop the trial, tattle to mommy and daddy, stop the trial, kick out this journalist who's saying things we don't approve of. Can you believe that happened? And isn't that just the perfect symbol for the Orwellianism that Tommy Robinson himself finds himself stuck in? You know, I can go home. I'll be back in Canada tomorrow, which is slightly freer than the UK. But I feel like, and I say this when I come to the UK, it's my own private dystopian time machine where I can go 5 years into the future and see what life is like with fewer freedoms. That's my report here. For all of our reports, please go to realreporters.uk. As you may know, I brought with me a gaggle of journalists. The Yamini, we covered his flight from Australia, Pardes Saleh, Cassandra Fairbanks from Washington, Andrew Lawton from London, Ontario. We brought Jordan James down from Manchester. There was a whole gaggle of us, and I'm worried I'm forgetting someone right now, but I think all told, including our camera team, there were 9 of us. It cost us about £20,000 to bring everybody in, low cost airfare, cheap hotels. If you can help, if you think these reports are important, and it's obvious the BBC does if they're complaining about it, please help me cover the costs. I will be back on July 4th. I'll try and bring as many journalists as I can. If you can help chip in to cover the airfare, I promise to be here with bells on, and you're damn straight, I'm going to keep live tweeting. Until next time, on behalf of all of us here at the Rebel.media, keep fighting for freedom while you still have it. I've been here all day at the Old Bailey Criminal Courts in London. Tommy Robinson has been committed to stand again trial for an incident over a year ago in contempt of court. They're persecuting the man now. It's just harassment. For all our reporting, go to realreporters.uk.